Hey, free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So there was a little bit of a drama. Well, I wouldn't really call it too much of a drama because his personality type is basically a daily thing for me right now. But there was some discussion that I had in private messages with respect to what the actual rates are for K15 and K16, and obviously this extrapolates to A15, A16, and F15 and F16. So iSummon actually released a super timely video when he did the 100 runs on K15 and the 100 runs on K16 because that is a lot that I can work with, and it's really refreshing to know that there is actually someone else out there who is at least a little bit inclined in statistics, which is technically what my whole channel was about in the first place. So previously I released a couple of videos where I showcased me running some K15 teams, A15 and I think F15 as well, but I can't really recall the last part. But the thing is, whenever I made those videos, it was more of like a team comp suggestion. It was never about me telling you that K15 is better than K16. I've never once said that. However, it did come to my attention that K15 actually had some super crazy drop rates. Like, there were quite a few times that it dropped 3 6-star relics in one single run, and that was like, whoa, this could be a lot better because K16 can only drop up to 2 6-star relics at once. But now you're telling me that something that is cheaper can actually perform potentially better. And that's when I got to thinking that, okay, I probably should figure out the rates for you guys. So I did a collaboration with iSummon, and this is the video that he very recently did, and we are going to check it out together and just figure out like what are the actual rates of K15 and K16. So we're going to start off with K15 first, and as you can see here, there are quite a few runs that amount to 300 total runs, but you can see that there is a blank over here. And this blank over here is where I collected some results with the aforementioned troublemaker, and I really wanted to push it through a little bit more to just get the final results out and ready, but things got a little bit too toxic, so I don't think he wants me to give him credit for these figures out here, but I just want to let you guys know that this is not completely done by me. All these results were not actually founded by me, but because iSummon forgot about that also affected his final results as well. So let's check it out.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I have an update on which stage you should be farming, either 15 or 16. My first video on it, which I'm going to put over here in the top if you want to check that out, goes over 100 runs. Well, I have an update on which stage you should be farming. First of all, shout out to DaddyF2P for helping me gather this data. Me and him worked together to do all these essentially 400 extra runs that we had to do, and here are the results. First things first, as far as gold goes, stage 16 almost gives you twice the amount of gold in the reward section, so we're not going to really be talking about gold because most people are more concerned about relic, most importantly flawless relics. So we were actually trying to figure out which stages give you the more flawless relics for your stamina. After 300 runs.
Okay, so before we continue with that, let me just fill in the gaps over here. So with a little bit of mental calculation, I'm going to calculate all of these, and I'm going to calculate a number of gold as well. And with some quick math, I actually discovered that there is an additional missing 1.26 million gold that is supposed to be over here as well. So that means that this number here is not supposed to be 436k. It should be about 1.7 million, and that is also going to affect the total gold on the left over here. So actually, let me just go ahead and add this up. And the grand total is about 5.5 million total gold from 300 K15 runs.
Crunching the numbers, and we got 40 flawless relics in 300 runs, which essentially was 1 flawless relic every 75 stamina. What this means is you're bound to get 1 or 2 flawless relics at the most every 10 runs. As you can see, I got lucky and I got 4 right here, but then you can see all the other ones that I have 0. So in a Kronos 15 run, you can expect at least 1 or 2 at the most per 10 run. Again, we're assuming.
Okay, so pay attention to this number because this is super important. 1 flawless relic per 75 stamina cost in K15. And I think it's also quite important to take note of the gold, even though he said that it's not so much of a big deal, because the thing is you're still going to be needing that gold to upgrade your flawless relics. So it is still going to amount to something, especially since most of you guys are not quite at the late end game yet. So gold is still going to be a very big problem for a lot of you guys.
Assuming that we're only focusing on flawless relics. Keep in mind there's some superior relics that we also keep, so that's why we sell only 90% of the non-flawless 6-star relics, because we're assuming that 10%.
Okay, and there's also something else for me to add here, which is him saying that we are selling 90% of our 6-star relics. So I don't think this is supposed to cover the 5-star relics column, but I just want to clarify that this is meant for the 6-star relics. I don't necessarily feel like this is a justifiable approach, but I think it's still relatively okay. It's still relatively accurate.
Of those are the ones that are useful superior relics. Now, moving on to Kronos 16 runs, we also did 300 runs. Kronos 3600 stamina, that's a 600 stamina difference from Kronos 15 to Kronos 16, so keep that in mind. Obviously, you are going to be getting more gold for drop rewards, and if you sell more 6-star relics,
Okay, so now he's talking about gold and talking about selling 6-star relics, the base case being selling 90% of it. So the main catch here is the gold per run, which is the big difference, right? But what you can see is that the gold difference is quite insignificant, right? The gold difference is actually just 400k, less than 400k within 300 runs. So if we do the division like so by running K15 300 times, we're actually losing out by 363,000 gold. But if we divide that by the number of runs that we did, you're only losing about 1,000 gold per run. That's about it, 1.2k.
You're obviously going to be getting more gold in the long run. However, when we adjust Kronos 15 to 3,600 stamina instead of 3,000, the gold gap closes a little bit, so you're going to be getting almost the same amount of gold. Onto the relics for 3,600 stamina.
Oh, right. Okay. So he actually made a good point here. It's something that I didn't actually consider. So this 300 runs has a cost of 12 stamina per run, which means that technically it's a lot more gold friendly by running K15. So that means K16 is absolutely not a better place for gold farming. K15 is still superior for gold farming. And in fact, if you want a better comparison, right, we're going to divide this by 1.2 to get the actual true gold amount that you would get if you spend the same amount of stamina as your K15 runs, which is less than what K15 can offer at 5.4 million or something like that, right? You're only going to get 4.9 million with the same amount of stamina.
We got 34 flawless relics, and that run us 1 flawless relics every 105 stamina.
Okay, so there you go. So 1 flawless relic every 105 stamina, which is less efficient than running K15, which is 1 flawless relic per 75 stamina.
Which is about a 50% decrease in stamina, which is a 50% decrease on flawless relic drop from Kronos 15 to Kronos 16. If you're only focused on flawless relics, I would recommend sticking to stage 15 because you're going to be getting 1 every 75 stamina as opposed to 1 every 105 stamina. Aside from that, Kronos 15 is way easier to complete. You're going to be running through it faster and more consistently, since the jump in difficulty from stage 15 to stage 16 is very substantial. Obviously, if you compare these results to my previous video, you can notice that the gap in 1 flawless relics or whatever amount of stamina decreased. As the sample size increases, this number right here, 75 and 105, they will move towards each other as the sample size gets bigger. However, for it to
not necessarily
close, you're gonna have to be doing about 1,000 runs.
Yeah, I would agree.
If you have to do 1,000 runs.
So I would agree that 300 runs, in my opinion, is more than enough because this is our limiting factor, which is the flawless relics. And since we got more than 30 of it, this is definitely more than enough runs for this to be statistically significant. And this tells the full story of whether should you be farming K15 or should you be farming K16. And I think towards the end of the video, he also mentioned something about we do not know whether Lilith Games will then patch this over and make K16 better for rates and all that, right? That is entirely possible, and when the day comes, K15 is no longer going to be the best place to farm. And now that I'm covering this content as well and just putting the information out there for all of you guys, chances are they are going to get wind of it eventually, and they may eventually tweak the rates of K16 or even K15, right? But anyway, there you go, that's about it. So these are the stats of your K15 and K16 runs. Obviously, K15 is a lot better. It's better in every single sector. It's better in gold drop, and it's also better in the flawless drop rate, which is amazing. In my opinion, this should not even be the case because K16, it's supposed to at least give you a better flawless rate per stamina used, but that is not the case at all. And in fact, from what it seems like, it even has a poorer flawless rate per run, which is insane. That means that they didn't even increase the flawless rate of your 6-star relics in K16. But anyway, I guess that's it for this video. I'm just gonna end it off over here. Let me know how you feel about this video. What do you think about the statistics? Is there something else that we should have calculated as well? Is there something else that we should have taken note of? Anyway, I just want to add a huge shout out to iSummon. Go ahead and check out his channel. If you have not already done so, give him a subscribe, give the video a like as well. Let him know that I sent you over to his channel, right? He's doing the God's work over here. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more dislike content. Now with that said, this has been DaddyF2P, and as always, I will see you in the next video.